Welcome to Cancel Court Case Review, where we put celebrity accountability on trial. Today's case, Sean Diddy Combs, found guilty on 2 charges, not guilty on 3, with bail denied. Sentencing coming this October. Was justice served? What does this mean for the culture, the industry, and the fans? Joining us today, Ryan Davis and Blaq, who just starred in the newest episode of Cancel Court, The Trial of R. Kelly's Catalog, which the fans are loving right now. All right, let's break it down. 2 guilty charges, 3 not guilty. What does this mixed verdict say to you about how the jury saw this case?
What's up, Ron? You want me to go first? You gonna go first? How you want to do it?
No, man. You. First of all, boy, look at you.
Hey,
look at you, boy.
Did you know that they were telling us the truth when they said vegetables were healthy? And that we were supposed to eat more
man. I seen you exercising in that Martin Lawrence suit. Boy, you had sweat pouring all out your arms and stuff.
I had on the whole what's the He's So Crazy joint? I had the whole
boy, I'm talking about the dope man that sold me the ooh-wee.
Yeah. So,
hey man, I'm proud of you, boy. Anyway, you go first, man.
Thank you, man, and thank you for the latest episode of Cancel Court, man. I listen. I was there. I'm in the audience, and I forgot about it, and then was like watching it. Y'all are so good that I can watch it again, and it feels like the first time, man. And with I'm telling you, with season 4 coming up crazy, that was the best way to get the kickoff, man. Like. Yeah,
you want to know what my favorite part of the whole episode was?
Huh?
You want to know what my favorite part of the whole episode
was? What was your favorite part?
I'm really about to beat your ass, for real. That's what I'm finna do. The coke can come off, nigga. The coke can come off.
That's what type of trial this should have been. You know, I think the mixed verdict, you like how I swung back. Yeah, I remember the whole thing.
You almost made me waste this yak on my $300 suit, WC, with the hard ass turns, boy.
Yeah. So the mixed verdict doesn't really seem that mixed to me. It seemed like it was on the nose. It was like, if you go by the letter of the law, well, if you look at the description of each charge, those 3 he didn't really do, and those 2 he definitely did. Yeah, but the thing is, I didn't even know how illegal the 2 things that he actually got, convicted of. I didn't know they were serious enough to keep him in jail still. After you got to understand if you just look at what they found him guilty of, he's guilty of being a rich cuck. That's it. They were like, you're not allowed to fly your prostitutes in to have sex with your girl in front of you. No. You got to do it the poor cuck way, and do it with
your strangers on the street.
Find somebody on the street and woo them with your personality. That's what. So because he's a rich cuck, he's still in jail. And I'm not saying that he ain't do nothing else. What I'm saying is, of the things he was charged and convicted of, he's in jail right now for being a rich cuck. That's crazy to me. But that's what it said to me. It says to me that they don't believe that other people weren't complicit and consensual or whatever. That's what I think. And then the charges that he did have to wear are things that he clearly did. So it didn't feel biased by the jury. You know what I mean? It seemed like they kind of went by the letter of the law, which is what they're supposed to do. But, we've seen court cases and how they go. So that's what I think about the mixed verdict. What about you, Ron?
It says to me that jury that was hung yesterday didn't even want to find him guilty of the 2 things that they found him guilty of. That boy was about to skate on all them charges. And they was like, well, goddamn it, we got to get him for something. Shit. Singing too loud in church. What they carry? They were like 21 months. Goddamn it, give it to him. Give it to him. How dare you safely see that your prostitutes get to and from the freak off? How dare you?
That's literally what the conviction is. That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
How dare you order your prostitutes on Instacook?
Yeah,
and bring them over to the house.
How dare you show your appreciation with money?
Let me get you safely back to the house.
Yeah, let me make sure.
How dare you sit in the car?
I want to make it worth your while. I want to make it worth your while.
How dare you sit in the car and wait till the Punisher go in the house and get inside safely after peeing in Cassie's mouth? How dare you? How dare you?
We can't with you all. Like you can see
That's
him.
what, but literally, that's what he did, though.
It's the same thing that happens when George Zimmerman, police officers are tried and accused and indicted of first-degree murder when they unalive a Black person. When what they should be on trial for is manslaughter, negligent homicide, depending on which state you in. Because first-degree murder constitutes you had the preconceived, premeditated notion to go kill that person, which is hardly, if ever, the case. Whereas manslaughter or negligent homicide concedes that an act happened that resulted in the death of another person, and you are directly responsible for that person's demise. And that's why they keep getting off every time one of these Breonna Taylor.
Ron, we ain't talked at all. When I tell you this is my exact same perspective, dog, when everybody was calling me and talking about, oh, he walking or whatever, I was like, that's the prosecution's fault. Why are you charging him with RICO?
Yeah.
In the
And
first
I can answer that one for you, my
it's
brother.
organized crime, and he's the only person on trial. A one-man RICO. A RICO is a criminal organization,
enterprise, and ongoing. It is defined as a continuing criminal enterprise. The freak-offs ain't still going on.
Yo, and it's
how is it a continuing?
And it's one nigga. An enterprise. One nigga is a criminal enterprise.
So Puff Daddy gets a RICO charge for the freak-offs, but Hugh Hefner was allowed to live and die at the Playboy Mansion.
Right.
Yo, you see what I'm saying? Here's the thing. This is the point that I was making. If anybody was getting upset at the fact that I said that, the 3 things he got off for, he should have got off for, and the 2 things he was supposed to wear, it was common sense. This whole case could have been common sense. Cassie went and told them that he was drugging people, he was violent, and all of these things, right? So they had probable cause to go search for drugs. They found drugs in every establishment that he had. Found weapons in every establishment that he had. So
many drugs and guns.
Never charged him with any of it because
he never got charged.
They meet to the
I bet T. I was looking at that footage like, so Puffy can have all them guns.
All them
next
guns,
to all them drugs.
And they were like, yeah, we don't like the way he has sex. Nigga, what y'all could have gotten him on when
they ran past the guns and the drugs like, where the dildos? We heard you got dildos on a pallet.
Baby oil, nigga. There's meth, coke, guns, nigga. Nothing.
No, move all that and make some room so we can line all these baby oils up on the table and count them. Move the guns,
He
goddammit.
didn't wear no drug possession charge, not one. When they just had it, they had
They
it.
said they had several firearms unregistered at
Yeah,
every establishment and several drugs. If they
Right.
would have tried him for that,
he'd be a done deal right now. He
I
would be
bet
a
Big
done
Meech was looking at that footage like, I know you fucking lying.
deal.
So y'all were not surprised by the guilty rulings at all.
No.
Not
By
the
the
guilty
not
ones,
guilty
no, because by the letter he flew out prostitutes. He
right, by the not guilty rulings did not surprise you, or they did.
not you
So
can't.
so
One
so
person can't be a criminal enterprise.
I paid attention during the R. Kelly trial.
Mm.
And they have revised the Mann Act. And if you are a historian like myself, then you understand that Jack Johnson, the inventor of what is known today as the monkey wrench, also heavyweight boxing champion of the world, also renowned author, poet, laureate. Anyway, Jack Johnson, at his prime, he had an affinity for the white women's. And he happened to have this one white woman that was
Twice.
in his company. And he took this white woman up and down and past and over the Canadian border and back down into New York and then back into Canada and back down into New York. So when they booked her for a fight in Virginia, and he got on the plane with that white woman, as soon as he landed in Virginia, they arrested him for illegally transporting a white woman across state lines, which makes it a felony. So if you've been knowing that, like I've been knowing that, you already know that anything that you do that's illegal, once you cross the state lines with it, it becomes a federal felony. That's why he had the federal case in the first place, because anything that happened on the state level happened so long ago with Cassie. Anything that she could attest to had happened so long ago that it had superseded the statute of limitations. All they could do was use those testimonies to establish a pattern and establish character.
And you know what it established? That he was on drugs, giving drugs to people, and he was violent and he had weapons around, possibly illegal ones. And they said, nah,
No, but them
nah.
dildos.
What about them dildos?
All right. So do you both think Diddy's status helps or hurt him in this case? And would the average person have gotten
He's
the same help?
finished. He's finished. That's what I think. He's finished. You'd have to be insane to touch him at this point. Business
He,
wise,
yeah.
public perception wise, anything. Because one, even though he wasn't found guilty of anything, we heard everything.
Mm,
Even
we
though
heard
even
it.
though he wasn't found guilty of anything, we saw what he did to Cassie.
We seen it.
We seen it.
He
You
stomped
can't.
that girl like her name was the Yard.
Yeah, you couldn't. Oh my god, it couldn't. You can't go back into the world. They do it in court a lot of time too. A lot of times they'll say something out loud and the judge will be like, strike that from the record, jury, strike that from the record, but the jury still hear it.
Mhm.
That's the whole point. You know, they put him up there as it was a public crucifixion. The
Humiliation
charges,
ritual.
that's what I'm saying. Like, to anybody who's like, oh, Ryan is defending Diddy, I'm sitting there telling you there's a lot of things they could have got him on and they didn't even try to. And that's what makes me feel like it was for public humiliation. It was to ruin his reputation. And I think job well done. Because I don't think anybody can see him the same.
Right.
After this, it actually makes you question. Once you hear all this stuff, it makes you question other stuff that's been surrounding him that we might have gave him benefit of the doubt of being like not a part of or not having anything to do with. Now he looks so sketchy. You be like,
Mm.
that shooting in that club that Shine went down for. What's up with that?
There's way
The
too
whole,
much stuff around
yeah,
him.
the whole East Coast West Coast beef. You didn't know nothing about nothing that happened with nothing.
We're going to touch on that later for sure. But I want to ask y'all first, how do you also feel about the 50 and Diddy beef coming into play during the trial and the baby mamas being involved and all that testimony?
I love 50 Cent.
Okay, so 50 aside, the one thing that I disagree with everything that Ryan just said, the only thing that I disagree with him on is he's finished. He's not finished. He's radioactive. So anybody that fucks with him, you'd be looking at them like, because here's the one thing that never came out. Outside of Cassie and the Punisher, who else was at them freak offs? Did everybody know Diddy throw a good party?
Mm-hmm.
And ever since Jamie had his stroke, he ain't been no Jamie Foxx parties. So where y'all been getting y'all freak at? Because freaks don't stop. The fact that Diddy was able to gather all these like-minded individuals together on some eyes wide shut type vibe just says that it's a lot of other nefarious ooey-gooeys going on in the industry.
But
he might not be the only nigga that likes his nipples to get nutted on. Yeah, who else came up with...
If you get to the point, think about some of the things we found out he was requesting and doing during this trial.
I'm gonna wear a mask.
You mean to tell me this man been in the industry for 30 years and ain't never propositioned nobody?
He ain't never just mentioned that shit.
He ain't never mentioned nothing. This is under wraps. Ain't none of y'all ever known. Man, listen.
Not to put our business out there, but me and Ryan have been friends for the better part of a decade. And we've had a couple of conversations about our sexual proclivities.
Mm-hmm.
Just on some, what you be getting off on during the pandemic? Bruh, my search then went dry on the hub. What you be looking up?
What you be looking at?
So you mean to tell me
what's hot in the streets right now? You know somebody who putting up 30 points a game right now?
What makes your fancy ticklish? Huh?
All right, y'all. Wait. I need to hear opinions on the whole 50 Cent drama and how he got pulled into this trial. He's running his mouth at every opportunity. Like, how'd y'all feel about that? And the baby mamas. I don't know if you read the testimony from the baby mama, but it was a lot.
Listen, I think once a man tries to take you shopping, you're allowed to say whatever you want to say about him to the end of time. Like, I think so. That's what it is. It's like 50 is 50 OD, of course, all the time. He'd be going hard, but at the same time, you don't get to make me feel uncomfortable, and then think I never get to make you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
And that's the thing, is just like, it ain't even about picking a side. That's just, for me, that's just man shit. Like, if you put yourself out there to make another man feel uncomfortable, you know what comes with that. If that man goes, nah, I'm really uncomfortable right now, I really don't rock with you like that. So for me, it's just like, 50 is true to form. He's brilliant. This is all marketing for him.
Right.
And then he sold the idea, because the docuseries he has the rights to. You know what I mean? He wasn't just talking shit. He made you know what I mean? He made money off of it. That's what I'm saying. It's so hard to like look at 50 as like, I think people who don't understand the business mind look at 50 the wrong way. This dude is actually pretty brilliant. And he isn't just doing it just to do it. You got to think about the amount of engagement he gets from it. And he can take that engagement in and say, look, if I make a documentary about this and it's from my perspective, if I'm doing it, everybody's going to watch it.
Everybody named Mama going to watch it.
With this. Like, at the end of the day, people don't understand that attention is the new capital. And I can literally take that into a business meeting and go, this is how much attention I get. Right. How much is it worth to get the eyeballs that's on me onto your platform?
One thing that they didn't take into account with 50 Cent is he's a person that is able to take whatever you do to him, capitalize. Anybody who can get shot 9 times and then say those exact words in at least 9 different projects that all went platinum, tells you that's the wrong nigga to flirt with. You got to remember when P-Diddy said to 50, let me take you shopping, he was already 50 Cent. He had already signed a $1 million deal with Aftermath and with Interscope and with Dre and with Eminem. He was already a nigga who didn't need to go be taken shopping.
Yeah, it was $1 million up already.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be different if he was looking out for the young homie, like, let me take you shopping, let me lace you with a whole bunch of, you know what I'm saying,
bigger, but I know the money ain't came in yet. Let me go ahead and, you know, get you right
get
for the
you
public perception. That ain't what he said.
That's no. He propositioned that man. Let me take you shopping. I'm gonna take you out and spend some money on you, so that we can go.
And you know, Diddy, like, his term of endearment is daddy. Let me take you shopping, daddy. What? What? Hey.
Knowing what we know about him now, we absolutely know. I can absolutely assume that was a proposition.
Yeah,
sure.
And Mr. Curtis Jackson did as well. And once a person sexually harasses you, see, 50 did what Cassie and Terry Crews should have done. And this ain't victim blaming. I seen you open your mouth and cock your neck to the side.
It's not.
This ain't victim blaming.
It's just a perspective. It's just
you are supposed to loudly call out when a person has done you wrong. You don't whisper that shit later on once you've received a little penance. You and every moment you get, every chance you get, you remind the public in case they forgot that this person is a wrongdoer. And that's what 50 is doing.
Yeah, but 50 Cent and Cassie, like, Diddy was controlling Cassie's entire career. She's a 19-year-old woman, new to the industry.
What career? What career? You've been waiting so long for me to answer your call.
Well, you're speaking to the problem because he controlled her entire career in its release to have her.
Nobody else would. Okay, so
as a woman and as a young woman, speaking out does not have the same effects. 50 Cent can say whatever he wants. He's not going to have the repercussions of a young woman trying to break into the industry and then also ending up romantically involved with someone thinking that they have their best interest at heart. And also, if I say anything, my career is gone. They're not going to release my singles, all these other things, not to mention all of his wealth, power, influence, and violence, as we've seen. So I don't know. I don't really rock with that perspective as much, but I hear you. I think it should have been said out loud, but we have to keep in mind, like, all the other factors at play that are preventing a woman from speaking up on that, you know? Let's shift gears a little bit, though. So there's always talk of a celebrity shield in these trials. Do you think that's real in the courtroom, or do you think it's just public perception?
When you're white. What about you, Ron?
He didn't have the right skin tone to play that card. And his assets have been frozen. So they haven't released his assets yet.
Well, I'm gonna tell you because OJ beat the case because it was a beatable case.
Wait a minute. Wait up.
So no. Listen,
she jumped so hard to OJ. That man has gone on.
That's the only example of a black man getting off on it because he was rich. That's the only black man that ever got off. And
Young Thug
said it was because it was celebrity. But I don't think Young Thug got off because he was celebrity. Everybody beat the case. He the only one that took the plea. Everybody, all his co-defendants beat it. So I don't
Young Thug beat his case. He didn't take no plea.
Thug took a plea. That's why he can't go. He can't be in Atlanta no more. That was part of his plea deal.
I thought that was one of his convictions. He can't go to Atlanta for 5 years.
It was part of his plea. He was like, he pled guilty. He get time served. He's on probation for like over a decade or something crazy, and he can't go back to Atlanta.
All right, we're going to shift a little bit. So from a cultural perspective, and we touched on this a little earlier, Diddy's been surrounded by rumors for decades. So does this verdict finally confirm those whispers, or it's still just he said, she said in the public's eyes, do you think?
This is
Whatever
the
they said
thing
about
about
ghosts, he did that shit.
yeah, like so this is my thing. Whenever people just seem so just thrown off by this whole Diddy thing, and I'm just like, these whispers have been out here
Right.
forever. And if I ever said to y'all, came to y'all, even before this happened, before anything came out, and I was like, do y'all think Diddy is the type to use his power to his advantage? Do you think anybody would be like, nah, not Diddy? Do you think he would use money and influence to get his way? Oh, Sean Combs? No, nobody thought that way. Nobody thought that way in the first place. People already was hearing about freak offs and Diddy parties and stuff like that beforehand. Now we're just getting details. You know what I mean? Oh, he treated people badly. Yeah, we saw Making the Band. We saw like, and that's
Niggas
what he
walk
allowed
miles
y'all to
for a
see.
cheesecake.
Yeah, that's what he allowed y'all to see. Him cussing people out and everything. That's what he allowed. I want to work for Diddy. He showed you what
Mm-hmm.
it was. He showed you what it
Mm-hmm.
was trying to get a job for him or starting to work for him. They no telling
Making
what kind
his
of
band.
abuse. There's no telling how much the abuse the people who took for him working for 10 years. But I think we got to get to a point where we got to have a real conversation about people deciding to take money over their
Hey, shut your ass up, cause that's my point. I was gonna say that. Let me
taking
say that.
money over their peace of mind and then suing after for money nonetheless. Money no less after that. I mean, saying that you willingly took abuse because how else was I supposed to get the like if they was gonna take the money and the access away? Yeah, you should like I I
Who are
just
you talking about right now?
for me, right? If you do something that you find conflicting within your heart and your morals and everything, and the reason you do it is because you don't want to lose access to money or status or you or anything like that, I think that speaks to your character in some way.
Who are we speaking about right now, though? Are we talking about Cassie?
Everybody who does that, no, Cassie is one person. You can add her to the list, but all the people who worked for him, all the people who worked for him who saw shit that he was doing, turned a blind eye,
I agree with
including Cassie. Everybody,
that. I
you
don't agree with
think nobody knew this nigga was abusive?
Oh, tag me in. Tag me in. Let me get
You think
some.
nobody knew that he was manipulative? You think nobody knew? But everybody wanted access to that power and that strength and
that.
that
Right.
influence. And they were willing to give up their peace, give up their sanity, give up their own protection and safety to have access to it. At what point is that a choice? You're in, Ron.
I cannot. I agree with everything you said, except I would not apply it to Cassie for the app.
Not only can you not apply it to Cassie, you're gonna have to apply it to Don Montgomery. You're gonna have to apply it to anybody that signed a contract after Mary J. Blige, anybody that witnessed Shine take a pistol case for that nigga and still go to prison. See, anybody that has just looked at them, the after residual effects of any artist that has signed with Bad Boy Records. Craig Mack went crazy right before he died. Biggie Smalls, dead and gone. Mary J. Blige, first she got whooped by KC, and then she was allowed to float out there for damn near 10 years before she dropped No More Drama and made a huge ass comeback. Let's see who else. Day
G Dep went to
26.
prison.
Mm,
Mace became a pastor and moved away from the game
so
completely.
that he could get away from that shit because the death threats and shit was very
I'm
real.
like, y'all, it's
Day
been here, Ron.
26,
It's
the
been
band,
here.
Danny the Kane. The white girl from Danny the Kane Tried to tell y'all.
Aubrey been
Everybody
telling
was
people
like,
for a decade,
shut your ass
bro.
up, white girl. This Diddy you talking about. You better hush. He got a freak off coming up in 3 weeks. Like, see, Don Montgomery got on that stand and said Diddy was horrible. He was egomaniacal. Working under him was the most horrendous work conditions one could ever imagine. And I was so happy when my contract was over and I got away from him. And then they said, so then you hit him up in 2020 and said,
Right.
can I
We
get
need
some
to
work?
together.
And
And then she
she
was
was
on
like,
the Love
yeah.
album. You see what I'm saying?
I was low on bills and I know that Diddy pay well. See, anytime you lay down with dogs, you gonna get your ass up with some fleas. And all these flea-bitten motherfuckers stood their ass on that goddamn stand and testified to how good of a dog he was. Like they never acknowledged the fact that they knew it was a dog that they were laying down with. They said that, and you know, that dog got a really nice house. And he always, first, see, Cassie said he drugged people. No, he had drugs laying out. And you could do something if you want some. And if you want some, you can do some. But whatever it takes you to do to get in the mood to fuck something.
And they go, nah, I gotta take the drugs because he might not invite me back if I don't do if I'm the only one not doing drugs.
Do you know that anybody could have been like, nigga, I'm not walking 5 miles, including across a major city bridge to get your bitch ass no fucking cheesecake, you fucking millionaire? Did y'all forget that one of the contestants on Making the Band was a married mother? That's the one thing this trial showed me. Yes, you can be a black woman and be a victim and go out and get your vindication. But once you get paid, bitch, go cry on your big old pile of money.
Mm-hmm.
She had to testify, you know. She
had to testify. Now that is true.
She had to testify.
Would she have? I don't think whenever this ended that she ended up looking good, and I think she knew she wouldn't, and she didn't. I don't think it was her choice to testify. I really do believe that she was summoned. I don't feel. I
got to post some out for her husband.
I don't feel like she was working with them at all on this. I think she got what she wanted out of it. She felt vindicated, and then they wanted to. That's what I'm saying. These charges. It sucks that
because you can't get the police and the law involved without somebody going to jail. Yeah, they gotta get their pound of flesh. She's like, I got my money, I'm good. They was like, no, baby girl.
She did, because I think what people are thinking is that she was out to get him, and I think she already got hers. I think after she already got hers, she was like, I'm done. I got my like 40 million. She got like, because she got paid from the hotel too. So she got like 30-40 million from Diddy and the hotel from the security cameras situation. And so she was good. And
which is way more than she would have made with that fledgling ass singing career.
Yeah, so her singing career would have never made that.
I can't.
Her singing career would have never made that. But
I totally disagree.
What's your favorite Cassie song then? Since you caping for her so hard.
Them because he squashed her whole career. That's the point, though.
No. See, you gotta stop saying that. You gotta stop spinning that narrative. Because one thing that we learned during the trial is that before she hooked up with one Sean P-Diddy, Doc Daddy Love Combs, she was with Ryan Leslie, super producer.
Right.
Hit maker.
So she could have took her It's Me and You Singing Sounding Ass to Ryan. And I guarantee you, wait a minute, Stephanie, you asked me to explain myself, pretty lady. Allow me to not be on your bad side, please. Can a black man elaborate?
Y'all elaborate so much, but go ahead.
Dang. So as I was trying to say, see, I guarantee you that when she was with Ryan Leslie, they recorded a couple of demos together. A couple of demonstration records. And that Ryan Leslie, being the super producer that he is, shopped those demonstration records around the industry and couldn't get nothing done because although he's a super producer and a musical genius, he doesn't own a record label. He hasn't sold 100 million records worldwide. And that's what Cassie saw when she saw one Sean P. Diddy Combs. And she left that stable, healthy relationship with that black man that had never abused her or never sexually used her and got with that billionaire because she wanted to further her musical aspirations. And Diddy pushed that record. He made sure it was on 106 in Park. He made sure it was on every major radio station. He made sure that it got on commercials. And so much so that we know the beat and we know the lyrics. We know the bridge.
Wait. So when a woman does something that's smart for business, it's okay. But when 50 Cent does something that's smart for business,
hey, ha. See what you're not gonna do? What you're not gonna do is conflate. What you're not gonna do is conflate the gender war.
Wait a second, Ron, let her get it completely out.
Before 50 Cent, oh, it's smart for business. He's a business genius. But then you're kind of demonizing Cassie for making a business move for the head of a label. What would you have done if you were an upcoming artist and that was your dream?
I wouldn't have fucked him. I wouldn't have fucked him.
If you were a woman and he was pursuing you, you might have.
I believe
as a man, you're not gonna fuck him, but we need to keep it moving though.
So how you gonna compare her to 50? How you gonna compare her to 50?
Women in this, you think there aren't women who can leverage their influence?
Terry Crews got his balls grabbed in front of his wife. You think men don't get proposition? 50 got proposition by Diddy.
You're saying that 50 sending that text message and then everything is no holds barred for 50 to get back because of whatever. But then you're saying Cassie is just being opportunistic by making that move to work with a renowned head of a label who's going to have her music come out. Like,
wait a second, Ron, don't say anything. Ron, don't say anything. I had a question. What's so wrong? Why
shut your ass?
What's so wrong with admitting that she was being opportunistic? And if you're being opportunistic, you are indeed a user, just like they're using each other.
No, they're not using each other because there's an imbalance.
Ryan, why you pull out the big joker so fast?
Wait, so you saying because there's an imbalance of power?
I'm sorry. There's an imbalance.
There's an imbalance of power. Yes.
Doing something opportunistic for your career is one thing, but the way that you're framing it is almost like she kind of deserved what she got, and then she got her little millions, and now she should just shut the fuck up. But
I didn't say any of those things at all.
All right, let's keep it pushing now.
Wait a minute. Before you keep it pushing, my sister.
Because I gave you the whole.
Because you done did that 3 times already. You're not gonna do it this time.
That's crazy. I was so respectful. I was so patient.
My sister.
That's crazy. That was kind of violent the way that you came. It felt.
She tried to put baby oil under that topic and slide it out the conversation.
So what I'm saying, all I'm saying is the imbalance of power. Does the person with the most power, are they not supposed to benefit at all and just get used?
Why is benefiting in this case defined as like forcing someone to do sexual acts with people that you're paying for money and be on drugs all the time? Like that I didn't
say any of that. I didn't say any of that because nobody. I'm not saying because you're going into a detailed thing that I wouldn't think would even be. I don't think somebody say, "Hey, I can get you hit records as long as you let me hit you." I don't think that's what's being said in those. Yeah,
Lauren London didn't get no records.
That's a fair. I don't think that's a fair statement. What I'm saying is there's an expectation, right, that this person isn't going to do these things for nothing.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it's the other way because he was her boss first and then things happened later. And she even testified about that. So if you think that that people with power and influence, you can come to them and try to get a piece of that power and influence and believe that you don't have to pay, that they're not going to have any wants That's what contracts are for. And the contract that she signed with Bad Boy did not stipulate that she was.
Yeah,
Ain't no contract on that coochie, Stephanie.
crazy.
No.
What part of her contract involved coochie?
Did y'all read the Cassie's testimony, like her original testimony?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I read that 26-page affidavit. How dare you act like we're just some blindly sexist men who only see the side of males, you roll your eyes.
This is the thing. But this is the thing. We talked about what this is that's showing up in her right now. She can't help it. She was born when she was born. But my thing is,
I didn't want to say it on camera.
Because I've done nothing but give her grace the entire time I've been on here.
I'm talking about like she set the table.
I've done nothing but give her grace the entire time. But I think that there is
light skinned lady, your face has turned red 3 separate occasions during this discourse.
Stop playing right now.
I just believe there's a need to defend in a place where I'm trying to show you there's no need to defend.
Yeah, because we're not saying that Diddy is right to do any of that. We're saying that once you leave a healthy relationship with Ryan to get with a unhealthy relationship with Sean so that you can push your career forward, you then become complicit to anything that relationship entails. And once that relationship was no longer conducive for you, you made the right move and you left the relationship. However, you cannot then come back and recall all of the bad times that the relationship happened in which you continued to further benefit.
You're the one saying she had no music out. What's Cassie's best song? And you're going to tell me she continued to benefit? She didn't have a song come out.
Wait a minute. You believe there's no benefit to being tied?
That's not what I said. Y'all are putting words in my mouth.
I asked. It was a question.
You just posed the question like she received no benefits. But she was a billionaire's bottom bitch for a number of years.
Do you think that's what she wanted, or did she want to put out her music?
That's what she wanted. That's what she wanted when she left Ryan Leslie and got with Diddy. That's what she wanted.
Abusive relationship.
That's what she wanted when her and Kim Porter sat down together, and Kim Porter warned her of what she was getting into and gave her a couple of personal effects that she later turned over to the FBI. Kim Porter warned her before her untimely demise of exactly what type of devil she was getting involved with. And she told her, buckle up your seatbelt, put a mouthpiece in, and wear your helmet tight. Because it's real out there.
Okay.
And Cassie said, are you ready for some football? And got $40 million.
No. Y'all are simplifying it, but it's
why are you saying y'all? Me and Ron have two different perspectives. So you gotta hear us as two different people. You gotta.
No, we just stupid ass men at this point, brother.
Y'all, if y'all put words in my mouth,
stop saying y'all.
I'm saying no because you've been both of you, but it's not
no. Address him. He said that. I would have never said that. He said that. That's a Ron. You're being ridiculous. I'm glad Ryan doesn't speak this way. Why do I get drug in with the nigga? I never said any of this.
Okay.
And if you have litigation problems, join us at Periwinkle Pimpin' and Associates. We'll make sure.
Goodness. All right, listen, we have to move on. We've been on this question for way too long. So moving ahead, can fans still bump Bad Boy hits after this, or is it an immediate skip from now until the end of time? What do you think?
What? I would never give up my bad. He could have been found guilty 6 times over. They got nothing to do with my music. Do y'all know? Bro, listen to me. I was born 1987. The Bad Boy era ran from 92 to 2005, roughly. Nigga, that's my life. What am I supposed to do?
That's his entire formative years.
Yo, that's all of my formative. Like, it's Bad Boy and R. Kelly. If I give away R. Kelly, I gotta give away Bad Boy too.
That's from the time he could talk to the time he could fuck.
Yeah, like that's all of my years. All like at some point, do I get to have any music? And then we talking about do I go as far as the nothing he produced? You know what I mean? Nothing he was any part of. Because now I ain't got no Jodeci. I ain't got no early Mary. I ain't got no Biggie. Biggie, what did Biggie do? Biggie died for the right for me to listen to his music. He go, cause a nigga nasty, I can't listen to the nigga music no more.
Biggie on half the records, all in the videos.
I can't listen to Lil' Kim no more. No Locks. No Mace. Mace don't even fuck with Diddy. I can't listen to Mace. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, y'all. So Diddy's sentencing is coming up in October. Based on the charges, what kind of sentence could he realistically face? And give me your sentencing predictions. I think the max he can get is 20 years for the charges he's gotten so far.
Time served.
No
way.
No, the max he can get is 56 months for each one of those charges, even if they give them to him consecutive, which is one behind the other. The most he'll be able to do is 10 years.
10. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think coming down the pike for October?
But he's already been in for 10 months. That man is going to get 20 months, which means he'll be in for another 10 months. And then they're going to put baby oil all on the floor and he's going to slide right up out that bitch.
So Steph, this is what I think he's going to get time served. I think when October come in, they're just going to let him out.
That's crazy.
Because time served is never equal. Like you do a year, they'll knock 10 years off of you on some time served type stuff. They do it all the time. So because of that, I think he's going to get time served. I think them keeping him there all the way to October just for sentencing is sending the message that they want to send, that he's still not in control in any way. Even when you beat this, you're not in control. I think it's definitely getting the message across to him. But I think that's all this is at this point. I don't think you can have somebody in prison for 10 years for flying out dick. I think that's a precedent that's just crazy.
Dick Dash.
Yo, that's you give a dude a decade for flying out dudes to fuck his girl in front of him. That's just I don't know what precedent you're set. Listen, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm happy that Diddy beat these charges. Listen, I wanted him to go down. Because then I'd have an excuse not to ever fly nobody out. See, we fly me here. I can't do that. Because
you saw what they did to Diddy.
And then they could get me for trafficking. Like, I wanted the excuse.
I hate that he's going to jail.
You know,
for that very reason.
Money. Him beating this hurt me more than anybody.
Boy, because now, but see, I wish he would have got locked up for some more time, because see, like, what people don't realize is, like, see, now, like, you can't fly a girl out no more at all, because as a man, it's always been understood that if I fly you out, that airline ticket come with some coochie.
And as a woman, I want you to know that is not true.
Which is why we've been at the impasse, and women have found themselves at the airport with no return fare home.
I'm gonna let that one sit. That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, let it sit at baggage claim.
It's still
while you be on the phone,
because it all comes to if you're to want to benefit from something and thinking there's no expectation of you on the other side. I think is childlike,
ludicrously white.
I think not seriously. I really believe this way, and it's not. Listen, I don't have the same life experience as everybody has, you know. But in my life experience, I've been told a million times nothing's free.
There's no such thing as a free lunch.
I've never received no free shit for real. Like, even when I go if I go to a club, right? And they're like, Ryan, yo, you coming in the club, you get in for free. We'll give you bottles, everything. All we need you to do is post us on. It always comes with something. There's no nothing where somebody sees value in something that you bring to the table, where they want access to it, and don't expect something in return. Somebody's going to make a request, and I think we got to get. And this ain't just about Diddy. That's why I'm like, I hate when it gets put to Diddy and Cassie, because I just mean this across the board. Because I'm in entertainment, and I see this, and I see people have buyer's remorse where they wanted to use a person and the person did not give them the things they thought they would get out of it. And now they feel like, oh, I got played. I'm leaving here with something. I'm leaving
Mm-hmm.
here with something. So they'll do drugs with somebody and say they drugged me. They'll have consensual sex with somebody and say they assaulted me. They'll do these things because they didn't get out of the deal what they hoped to get out of the deal.
That could go both ways, though, right?
No, I'm not. I didn't say a direction at all. I've never said any direction. All I'm saying is because there's at some point we gotta hold people like accountable to what they agree to.
Mm.
What they agree to. Now, if you bring up something that we know that person didn't agree to, you're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm specifically and only talking about what they agree to. Once you realize that this is the price, you have a decision to make as an adult. And how many times are we gonna, because this is the problem, it turns into a slippery slope where we go, what exactly influences a person to make a decision outside of their, because that's what it is, because these stipulations, they can't be held accountable for the decision that they make. Now we're getting, and then we're talking about power dynamics, but power dynamics are what exactly? If you dealing with somebody who's rich and famous and everything, in what way are they leveraging? You knew who they were that's the reason you went over there. You went up once again. I see this face you making. Don't think Cassie and Diddy. Just hear what I'm saying. If you need to switch it from man to woman the other way.
That's not the issue.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that's
Go
the
ahead.
issue. I'm saying if it helps you not think about these particular people. What I'm saying is, all right, so any job you've ever gotten in your life, you know that they have standards. They have a thing that you have to do. You want this job, you want access to the money that we provide. This is the hourly wage. This is what you got to do to get to that money. I feel like everything in life shows up that way. And I see a lot within the entertainment industry where someone goes, well, I was dealing with this person because I thought it came with this, and then when it didn't come with that, I don't like the deal. Because I don't like the deal, I need to be compensated. And however that is. And it goes to, I didn't like the way I felt from this exchange. And at some point, we got to get to a point where that isn't worth millions of dollars. You not liking the way the exchange went in your favor is it's bad. Some people take losses in business all the time. Sometimes shit is just a loss in the business. You took a risk, you gambled, you lost. You have to leave with your losses. But now we're getting to a point where people are facing criminal charges. People reputation is getting soured because once you accuse somebody of doing some heinous shit, even if you're found not guilty, people remember that you were accused of some heinous shit. So if I just feel like, and maybe I'm biased because I'm on this side of it entertainment wise, and I think about what can happen to me. I don't give a fuck about Diddy. But you set a dangerous precedent when somebody goes, well, I wanted to use this person for their resources and they didn't give me the resources that I thought I was going to get. And they actually were a bad person. Yeah. Yeah. Bad relationships happen all the time. all the time.
I think it's a little bit more than a bad relationship. And I think I hear what you're saying, but I think you're erasing a lot of the nuance between the personal relationship and the business relationship that were happening at the same time. And
Did
so
he
you can
seek her out? Did he seek her out to sign her?
No, at my go. No, because once you leverage the personal relationship as part of the business relationship, you have to realize you can only play with the chess pieces that you have available on the board. And if you out here trying to do some queen shit and you got pawn pieces, then you're going to lose that chess game 9 out of 10 times. Unless you're playing with a fool. Let me say it more succinctly. You weren't a victim, you were a volunteer.
I disagree.
And just like Ryan said, when you lose, you can't then go back because you lost the game and sue the referee for not blowing the whistle hard enough. You can't go back.
So this is the thing. Stephanie, listen. She is a victim. They're all victims. And they're volunteers.
Yeah.
I think you're
volunteers.
simplifying the dynamics of an abusive relationship.
I love
listen, I love Ryan, abusing
Blaq
your girlfriend.
I'm not talking about none of that. I'm not talking about none of that. I'm not talking about none of that. I'm not talking about none of that.
Ron.
No, wait a minute. I can defend myself.
I just gotta say one thing because this is important. This is very important, Ron. I love my brother Ron to death. There ain't nothing in the world I wouldn't do for this man. If this nigga slapped the shit out of me, it's over. For everything that we've ever had, anything that we've ever experienced, the life that I thought that our friendship was going in, our kids being friends, we being grandpas together, all that shit is dead if this nigga slapped the shit out of me. You understand that? So at some point, right? I'm not saying that there isn't these things that happen with people emotionally and ways that you could be manipulated to where these things would seem so simple, these decisions that seem so simple to make aren't quite as simple as they are. But what I'm saying is, where is the line? I want to know we need to figure out where the line is. Because I'm not saying
I'm saying is
I didn't say he didn't abuse his power. Of course he abuses his power. Of course he does. So what I'm saying is, at what point do we start going, hey guys, there's a bunch of mountain lions in that alley. But
beware
there's a
of
lot of money in there. There's a lot of money in there. But these mountain lions bite and scratch and everything. They're mountain lions. Do you think you could tell a bunch of people, hey man, I'm moving out to Hollywood to chase my dream, and they don't go, hey, be careful out there?
I heard about that place.
It's
there are uncles in the deep South that have never left a state that have heard about that place. Be careful when you go up there to New York. I heard about that. They've written songs about that midnight train to Georgia that niggas take back home when they realize that LA proved too much for the man.
We have 30 seconds, you guys.
For everybody that's watching this entire discourse take place and you wondering, why didn't we get the social justice for a pariah such as Diddy? Look at the monster underneath your own bed.
That nigga's sick though. I don't want to leave here without saying that nigga.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, yeah.
That nigga. I want to make sure that part is.
He not just did it freaky. He not just freaky. He did it freaky.
That nigga is sick, bro. And we don't need people out there like that. But the way that we get rid of people like that is people have to say something whenever these people are doing it. And you can't benefit just because you benefit from their resources. Don't mean you turn a blind eye, because this is how this shit lasts. Turning
a blind eye is the same thing as agreeing with whatever the fuck is going on. If we hold white people to that standard, when we say that racism is taking place and they hush a mouth or turn an eye or close their ears and thereby become complicit to what's going on, the same rule must be applied to when we see any type of malfeasance taking place.
That's what I'm saying. I think if we get to a point where we're like, I think this precedent that's set with this is so much bigger than Diddy and Cassie. It's so much about how people can watch cruelty happen, and if as long as they're benefiting from it, they stay silent. And how, at what point do we make sure that we call them complicit in it? Or do we go, oh no, we feel for them. They got to pay their bills, so I can't really get mad at somebody how they were going to make a living. I mean, it's a bad hand that they were dealt. At what point? That's all I want to know. That's pretty much
all those bodyguards and nurses that tended to Cassie's battered and bruised body.
So many people knew she was getting beat up like that. People knew she was getting beaten like that, and they were like, I ain't trying to fuck up my
so
money.
They watched her get beat up so vividly, they were able to testify about it in great detail years later.
Yeah,
and said nothing about it in the moment because the checks were clearing.
And that's when I look at them as like, you beat her too. You beat her too.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm getting at. I think a lot of time when I start talking about accountability, people think that I'm ready to throw Cassie under the bus, and I'm just trying to get to a point where we're like, anybody
that defender table should have been long as hell.
Yeah, anybody who turned a blind eye for monetary gain, we have to find a way to put an end to that. We have to find a way to put an end to that. That,
as long as that means more than morals.
Else in this, for me, that was the biggest thing that I saw. That so many, because think about how many people, even after seeing the Cassie video, did not speak out against the man.
Yeah,
because of the benefits that could potentially come with if he beats this.
As long as there is people put money over morals, there will be a new monster like Diddy every 5 to 10 years.
Yeah,
in a new way, in a new iteration, and we have to wait.
He will be. Let me tell you, when I said he's finished, I never said he will not be replaced. He will be replaced.
Oh, his replacement is already in rare form. His replacement then had 3 or 4 freak-offs already.
I think I know who it is, but the replacement is on the way.
I think his replacement is female, because here's one thing. I know you rolled your eyes, but we didn't say nothing about the Lizzo allegations.
Who's we?
We as a society. When she came back with that new GLP-1 body, nobody was like, but what about the coercions?
All right, y'all. We got to wrap it up. Diddy's day in court is done, but the sentencing and cultural reckoning continue. Will justice be served, or will celebrity privilege strike again? Drop your verdict in the comments. Until next time, this is Cancel Court Case Review, and make sure to stay tuned for Cancel Court Season 4 coming soon.